Good afternoon, everyone. I just wanted to come to you today to give you the next series in the Devotional Letting Go series. Today's topic is going to be a little bit touchy. It is, the title of it in my devotional book is called, But I Was Only Looking. And this one, I will admit I've had a hard time with at times. And if you're honest with yourself, you will also say you've had a hard time with it. Because in today's culture, it is frowned upon, and it's just not practiced as much as it used to, which is a shame, because it is something that is very beneficial to living the Christian life and being obedient. So, as I get started here, one of the things that made me think of this was, you all watch movies or see TV people and actors, and as you grow up, like, oh, I had a crush when I was a kid. I had a crush on Scott Baio, and and even as an adult, I would watch movies with, say, Matthew McConaughey or Robert Downey Jr. or Jason Statham or Dwayne Johnson, and all these men, and they're very attractive men in their own right. But at what point does that become unhealthy? Men, this is thought of as something that men do all the time, but I will tell you, women are just as guilty. People say, oh, well, men, they look at women all the time. They say things all the time about, oh, she has this body, or this one has that body, or they'll have some comment to make. I won't go into the comments. But that is what we're talking about here, are those moments when you kind of go over the edge and over the top with your comments. And I'm sure, again, we've all had those lingering thoughts in our brains at some point in time. The problem is we shouldn't be entertaining those thoughts, and that's when we get in trouble. Again, I would just like to point out, our eyes are the windows to our soul. And if we are going to choose to honor God with not only our thought life, but our physical life, then we also need to choose to honor Him by what we look at, right? Or what do we think about what we are looking at? So again, I realize this is a touchy subject for people, because I can very easily hear people calling me a prude and judgmental and ridiculous, which I have been called all these things already for these reasons. But I will let you know that the argument of, I didn't do anything, I was just looking, I didn't do anything with that person, I was just looking, that is the one thing that Jesus talked about in a particular parable. And it's the disobedience of that command that makes it harder for you to look away the next time. So Matthew 5:27 and 28, and this is taken from the Message Bible, the Passion Translation, and it says, "Your ancestors have been taught, never commit adultery. I say to you, if you look with lust in your eyes at the body of a woman who is not your wife, you've already committed adultery in your heart." So did you see that? Or did you hear that, I should say? If you look with lust in your eyes, you've already committed adultery. How many of us have already done that? How many of us have done that? Every day it's a challenge for me to not think of somebody I see on TV or in a movie or catalog, or go, oh, wow, he's got nice arms, or oh, wow, he's got a nice chest. It's the way we are, but we can control it. And how do we control it? Well, in the past, I've said, one of the battles that Jesus, or one of the things Jesus said that He always battled the enemy with was, it is written. So what is written that we can fall back on, start looking up scriptures about what your eyes see, what your ears hear. That little song you sang when you were a kid, be careful, little eyes, what you see, be careful, little ears, what you hear. It's still very true today, even for us adults, we can use that. But our flesh is an extremely selfish creature. It's like a cranky toddler, no lie. It wants what it wants when it wants it. And I will not be the one to tell you that this is going to be an easy task, because it's not. However, we need to remember that when we do decide to let go of that selfish creature, our flesh, and we keep our eyes fixed on Jesus, on our Maker, on the one who gave us the perfect example of how to look upon other people, look upon other God's children, look upon the other servants out there, we can be rest assured that when we start doing that in a very loving, compassionate, Christ-like way, His light fills our eyes and our entire body, and it just emanates to all those around us. So, I don't have a whole lot to say about this particular topic except for the fact that, I know none of us wants to be called a prude or a holy roller or ridiculous, but let me challenge you with this task this week. Truly give notice to what your eyes are looking at and what your mind is thinking when you're looking at it, at whom. And if you need help in this area, I recommend getting an accountability partner. I actually have one for myself, and I do disclose to her when I have issues because I need that person to help pray for me. Someone who is of the same or greater faith than you, and someone who is of the same sex as you. That is paramount to this whole process. And it's okay to tell them, we will confess your sins to one another. You do that. And as you do that, you discredit the enemy from being able to use this against you. Every time it comes up, confess it and then let go and move on. So that's my challenge for you today. Confess your sins but I was only looking. Let go and move on. And yes, it will be a battle, but through Christ, you have the victory. Thank you, and we will see you again on Friday with Kristen with the next series in the Letting Go devotional. Thanks.